party people, it's your favorite teacher ever. It's Ola. Thought I'd come to you with 5 starter / plenary ideas for your classes. Starters are just like the food, like an entree. Do entrees come before starters? Or is an entree a starter but in French? Ask the MFL department. Starters are like the food. They should tantalize the taste buds, prepare students for what's to come, make them excited. They can also be used to remind students of prior knowledge that they may have gained in a previous lesson. They need it because for some reason retaining, remembering things isn't the greatest thing. It isn't the best skill that our students have. Even me right now, I don't have the best. By the way, the reason why I'm speaking like this is because I've got tonsillitis, so I get to. Plenaries should consolidate learning. They should essentially check, even though you should be checking at different stages of the lesson, you should be checking for learning. However, plenaries kind of round it all up and make sure that they've understood, or if they haven't understood, it's great because you can identify any gaps in learning and then plan your future lessons accordingly, so it's great. Okay, so the first one is odd one out, and I just choose 3 images. They can be animations as well, of people or things or objects, and I ask students which one is the odd one out, and I always tell them that there's more than one answer. And the reason why this is one of my favourite starters is because it's accessible for all types of learners, for the lower attainers to the higher attainers and everyone that comes in the middle of that. So for example, if I had a picture of Scrooge, Trump and Obama, one person would say Scrooge is the odd one out because Scrooge is a fictional character. Perhaps that would be a mid-attainer answer. A low attainer might say, oh, one's black, or Scrooge is again the odd one out because he's never been an American president. The higher attainer might say that Obama is the odd one out because his character and his actions have shown him to be a better man than the other 2. Okay, that's questionable, but you understand what I mean. I'm not a politics teacher. So essentially it gets them started, and obviously you can start asking questions, leading questions, to help them expand on their answer, and it should lend itself to the learning objective. So in that instance, when I've used that, we were talking about the character of Scrooge in Stave 1. I think it's really cool because you can use it across the different subjects. I don't know, in maths for example, you could put different equations, 3 different equations on the board, and adapt it because I haven't done maths since 2010. Chemistry, you could do it with 3 different is it elements? There are elements, the table of elements. Hey, voila. Wait, I need to get that up. I'm sure it's elements, it's not compound. I got A star in science GCSE, A star A. Nobody cares! Nobody cares! Elements A, I'm smart. Periodic table. Which other? PE, you could use it. Of different people taking the same shot in different ways, and one of them's not a great example or something like that. So odd one out works across the curriculum, works for mixed ability classrooms, not ability. I don't like using ability, and we'll have a whole video on that about ability and attainment. Mixed classrooms with mixed attainers, and it's really quick and easy. You can get really cool answers, and it starts a great debate and discussion. Okay, next one, post-it notes. Post-it notes are great. Give them out as the students are walking in your classroom door and explain what you want them to do. Usually I'll post a question on the board and then I'll say write down your answer to this question or your ideas in response to this question and stick them up. Any question. Again, this works for all learners, and again, this can be used across the curriculum. The reason why I particularly like it is because it allows for a degree of anonymity. Allows students to be anonymous. Students that might not feel so confident in explaining their answers or sharing their answers with the whole class. And you can kind of create a tally where you move the post-it notes where people have said the same response and look at what the class is thinking and feeling. It's great to get to gauge the temperature in the classroom in response to the question or the task or the ideas. And then again, you can plan your lessons accordingly, and you can if you can think on your feet, tailor the lesson as you go along, actually, based on those responses. So questions in the past I've asked, is war ever justified, when we've been looking at war poetry. For media studies, write down one stereotype you know about black boys. Sometimes the more difficult questions you can ask in this way, because people feel as though, my students will feel as though they won't be judged, because a lot of the times in media, especially when we're looking at representation, some of the things that are said are obviously quite can be offensive, because that's the world that we live in, and the students are engaged and they have to talk about it and the representation of these groups in the media. So in the beginning we do activities like this a lot. The third one is Menti.com. I feel like they looked at my classroom and the way that I teach and they said, let us make this website for Ola, for her use. Guys, I love it. For a bag of things that you can do on Menti.com. But my favourite thing is, again, to ask a question, and because I have iPads in my room, I can easily dish out the iPads, get them to log on to Menti.com, they fling in the code, and they answer the question. You can do polls on them, I think you can do presentations on them, and other things, yeah, but I prefer to just use the question part. The question part, again, allows for anonymity for the students. Well, I don't know, with my students, I feel like the novelty of using technology is worn off, because I use it all the time. I try to embed it in all my lessons. I just think it's normal. It's as normal as using a pen and paper for me anyway. But for you guys that still live in the dark ages, or for you guys that are really feeling these budget cuts, Teresa, Michael Gove, I'm joking, not about Theresa May Not or Michael Gove. I've even lost my train of thought. You see what these conservatives do to me? Not that I'm sharing my political thoughts, because I'm a teacher and I'm not supposed to be a real person. So the novelty has worn off my students, but I feel like in other classrooms that might not have access to technology as easily as I do, it's kind of good. They just kind of love it. They dig it. Like, it's like when the teacher used to roll out the TV on the trolley. We'd get gas. They get gas when they tap away. They love it. Engagement. Okay. My next one is pictures around the room. Get them up and move it. So for war poetry, I got pictures of different war zones and I stuck them around my room, and I just asked the students to walk up to each of them and write down how they felt about the pictures or the images that they could see. Other times I've asked them to write down different adjectives they would use to describe these pictures, not necessarily the war pictures but other pictures, to act as stimuli, especially for creative writing. And then I can go around the room again and pick out some that have stood out, and pick out the ones that aren't as strong as other ones that are there. So if somebody has written, it makes me feel sad, we as a class can develop it and use better adjectives and explain why. I can see blood. Let's develop it. Yeah. What color is the blood? Oh my god, I can't believe I just okay, no, but you know what I mean. It's like red blood, no, crimson blood running down the pale face of the young girl that is being surrounded by a gaggle of men. The reason why I'm thinking that is I've got the picture of Malala in my head. So yeah, and it gets them out there. See, I feel like it energizes them straight away at the beginning of the lesson. I've used it because most of my year 8 classes are always in the morning. I've used it a lot with them, and it helps to get the energy flowing. You know, the feng shui of the air, like my classroom going, and the energy. Yeah, all of that. Final one is Pictionary. Pictionary, I love it. Okay, so have you ever said, who wants to write on the board, or who wants to rub off the board? Hands, bang, 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 bang. Me. I don't know why. I really don't understand why, but they love it. So I say, can I have a scribe, please? And they'll say, what's a scribe? Can I have someone to write on the board, please? Like, oh, me. So Pictionary, what I'll get them to do is nominate someone, split them into teams usually, or sometimes you just do it one on, like you pick one person randomly and then they pick the next person. But usually it's in teams, and each team will nominate a few people. I'll give them a keyword, key term or concept, and they have to draw it on the board without using letters or numbers, and their team has to guess it. And it's great because everybody gets involved. The other team is also engaged at the same time because they know that they could potentially steal a point from the other team. And again, the energy's up, everyone's excited, so you can use it at the beginning or at the end and send them excited to another teacher and they can deal with them. I'm joking. I think the reason why this is so successful, especially used as a starter for example, is because yes, it builds on prior learning, or as a plenary because it consolidates learning at the end of the lesson. It also gets them to start thinking abstractly. For visual learners, it's great because it can help them to remember. I hope that you have picked up something that you can perhaps use in your lesson. Let me know if you do and if it worked, if you adapted it, or if you have your own ideas of starters and plenaries. Share them down below. Let's not be greedy. We're all doing the Lord's work right now, teaching the next generation. Please stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a week of work outfits for my next video, which will be out on Sunday, and then I'll start uploading regularly. I've been Ola. It's been great. See you soon. See you Sunday.